Welcome to the Freedom Framework Show, the podcast that helps you break free and build a life on your own terms. I'm Sam Silverman, and here we dive deep into strategies, mindsets, and systems that create true personal and financial freedom. If you're new here, welcome. And if you've been with us for a while, glad to have you back. Today, we're diving deep into how important it is to have people around you and how much they impact your trajectory, where you're going, what you're working on, and really what you see the potential is. So stick around because what you hear may change how you think quite a bit going forward as to who you allocate your time with. So I posted last week on LinkedIn, it got a lot of traffic. And what I really dove into was my journey, right? When I first started out in the corporate world, I was thinking, hey, if I can go make $1,000 a week, that would be awesome, because that was what I knew, right? I didn't really know the potential of building. I didn't really know the potential of getting into these higher paying roles, owning companies. I had no clue, right? So I started out as making $37,000 a year as an SDR, so sales development representative. I was cold calling. I was sending DMs on LinkedIn. I was sending cold emails. I was getting rejected constantly. And there at that company, I saw people who were making $100,000, $150,000 per year. So I'm like, okay, that's the ceiling of where I can get to, right? That's that next step for me. And that company actually shut down and we all went to a competitor. And there I saw, okay, these people around me are making $400,000 a year. And this is attainable, right? That gave me that feeling that, hey, if they're doing it, I can go do this. So from there, I went from, okay, 150 is possible to 400,000 is possible, right? 2.5x jump or so in that period of time in just 1 year. Next, I went to a bigger publicly traded company, and around me, people were making $1 million plus per year for top performers. So in that 1 year period, I went from thinking, okay, I can go from $400,000 a year to $1 million plus per year, really opening up what I viewed as possible because that's what I had exposure to. So that really helped give me a lot of clarity. Once I realized this is where we can get to earnings wise, next I started really understanding what lifestyle plays there were too, and what actually went into making that kind of money, right? So there's different ways you can go earn. So I saw there from going from 150, 200 to 400 to a million, what was actually possible and changing my perspective on that. But from there, I also saw, okay, these people who are making this money live a certain way, and they may have one box checked off, right? They're checking off that financial box. Making $1 million a year is awesome. But so many other things come into play. They're getting absolutely killed in taxes, right? Making $1 million to take home 600, not super appealing. So understanding what you take home is really crucial. Looking at certain things like health, right? These people were working 60, 70, 80 hours a week, and they were flying on planes everywhere, and not like the fun kind of travel either. Like they were going to these random cities to go pitch and do appointments, right? And like it wasn't like a super enjoyable type thing. So your health was taking a hit. You were eating crappy food on the road, 3-4 days a week, staying in these really not nice hotels. And it was something that you start seeing, okay, they've solved the money piece of it, but there's no way they're getting good workouts. They're not getting good sleep. They're away from their friends. They're away from their family. So yes, they had that one piece dialed in, but there was opportunity to go live differently in certain areas. So from there, I started joining tons of different mastermind communities, different networking groups, because I started getting access to people that were living in different ways. People who were following the routes of being a true owner versus being someone who was a top tier employee. And what I really found was that the happiest people I were meeting were people who built these companies or bought companies that allowed them to go have that full flexibility, both in terms of time, in terms of what they worked on, right? And they can go build those other areas of life too, and not just focus on how they earn and how important that is. They still earned, right? Because they held that residual value. They had ownership of these companies. They ownership in actual assets versus trading your time for money in that corporate type role. Even though it's a lot of money, you're still trading your time for money. And in turn, all these other areas start taking a hit and are impacted. And one point I really want to stress is how important it is to have people in your life who have achieved those things you want to achieve, right? For most of us, I don't aspire to be a billionaire. I don't aspire to go change the world in a massive way, right? You look at people like Elon or Bezos, like I have no desire to go build something like that. For most of us, there's these clear-cut paths you can go take to go recreate what others have done in a meaningful way. There's a framework that's built out for you that has worked for people in the past, and you can go copy it, right? There's no wrongdoing in doing it. There are so many different frameworks you can go do, whether you're looking to go buy a company that's been profitable for years, whether you're looking to go buy real estate, whether it be multifamily, a mobile home park, maybe a hotel. These things have been done over and over and over again. What you need to do is follow a framework to allow yourself to do so. So this applies to every area of life, right? If you want to go get in really good shape, go find a coach who is in really good shape, that looks how you want to look, that is in a certain level of health that you want to get to, that's training a certain way that you want to go mirror. So this ties to every area of allowing yourself to get into those right rooms with people who have experience and knowledge in those certain areas. And a quick plug as well for the community that we've built, entirely designed to help people in the corporate world go break free by following a framework and turn their corporate income to cash flow through buying companies and buying real estate in Freedom Framework. So that's the entire purpose of why we created that. And I've joined so many communities and networking groups to go be around people like that. But whether you're joining a community, a group, or just taking advice from certain people and consuming content, right? Find those people who have accomplished something that you want to go accomplish or live a certain way that you want to go live, and go follow them. Go consume what they're doing. Go start understanding, okay, they took these steps in this process, and go follow their framework and blueprint that they've already built. So what I saw from them was that they dialed in that area. But for me, I didn't want to go do that. I didn't want to go spend 20 more years, 30 more years following that same path. So what I really dove into was, how can I go find people that are living in a way that in 20 years, if I look back, I'd be really happy with the route I took to go get there. And you have to go find people that fit that criteria for you. And not everyone's the same, right? Finding people that have a life that you want to go live, have relationships that you'd want to go have health and habits that you'd want to mirror in your life, versus finding someone who may have one area really dialed, but they may have gaps in other places. So they can give you certain advice, right? Whether it be how to go climb the ladder, how to go make more money. If you take all of their advice, they may be pushing in a direction that's more similar to themselves. So finding people who have walked that path that you want to go walk is really crucial, who are ahead of where you are on that same journey, right? So on my end, then I spent a ton of money, a ton of time diving deep and finding people who had built really cool businesses that allowed them to go have a quality lifestyle, that allowed them to go have ownership in certain things. And they were entirely independent. And it's a whole different mindset shift from going from, I'm going to go earn as much money as possible in corporate for a period of time. And that's the route I took. And that's a route that I think when you're younger and coming up is a great route to go take, especially if you haven't solved for what do you actually want to do when you grow up. I had no clue. And for me, I looked to go solve for, how can I make as much money as possible, even if it meant sacrificing all these other areas while I was building, because that way when I figured out the path I wanted to go down, I could go much more quickly and much further in doing so, rather than saying, okay, this seems great, but I need 3, 4, 5 more years to execute on it. So I was okay making that sacrifice in the short term, give myself the optionality in longer term. That way, when I figured out this is a path I want to go take, I can go pour gas in the fire much more quickly and have resources to go back me in doing so. That's it for today's episode of the Freedom Framework Show. If you found value in today's conversation, make sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. If you enjoyed it, leave us a review. It really helps more people discover the show. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Connect with us in social media. Send us a DM. Engage with us. We'd love to go connect with you. And definitely share this with someone else who find this valuable. Again, thanks for tuning in. And remember, freedom starts with the right framework. See you next time.